make time to sew, because I think you can get so many benefits that we don't even know all the benefits that we get from. We couldn't list them all. I'm Donna Babylon, and today we're going to do some decorating. I'm the author of Decorating Solutions, and also I'm known for my easy home decorating projects. Today we're going to do a grommet curtain, which is like one of the most popular projects in the book. And also I'm going to ask a lot of questions that I get asked all the time by beginning sewers about how to make an easy curtain. First of all, when you go into the fabric store and you see all the wonderful fabric, decorator fabrics, they come in these large rolls of fabric, and it can be intimidating. And I'm here to tell you it's not a big deal. The thing of it is a little wide, and you don't always have large cutting spaces. And so the best thing to do is move your furniture back, use the floor. I've even been known to cut it out on my driveway, so I just make it work. But other than that, the sewing techniques are very, very easy, and I'm going to show you how to do them. Now, I'm working in smaller scale today so that you can actually see all the techniques. And so I want to talk to you about when you cut out your fabric. You take your measurements of your window and you are customizing your fabric, how many widths of fabric to your window size, so it's going to fit perfectly, and you cut them. And then when we put them together, now all of the fabric calculations for how to do for your window is on the website, and so it's very, very easy to follow. But basically, your decorator fabrics, and I'm using this really fun blender fabric today, and your decorator fabric is cut 6 inches wider and 1 inch longer than your lining fabric. Now, I really encourage you to line your fabrics. It's just as easy to sew, and it also just gives more body to your curtains. And so after you cut them, and you can see how this is, I want to show you how to press in the hems. And I'm going to do the bottom hem first. Now, when you are doing curtains, you do double hems. And there's a special little template that you can use. And you can see that it is, it's measured up. And a bottom hem is a double 4-inch hem. So essentially what you do is you fold it up to the 8-inch line, and you can press right on it, and it gives you a really, really nice crisp edge. After you have pressed that in across the width of your fabric, then you just take this apart and you fold it down and you press this side in like this. And then when you fold it up, you have your double 4-inch hem. Very, very, very easy to do. Now this one that I have completed here, I'm going to put these down, and you can see that I have already stitched in the hem. Now the lining hem I just top stitched, and the decorator fabric I did a blind stitch. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. But basically, after you do this, you put the lining and the decorator fabrics right sides together. They're hemmed, like I said, and you see how the fabric extends out on both edges. You want that. And so you just sew in across the top, and that's where you're actually connecting your lining to your fabric. So you take this and you pull it up, and I like to just press in the top edge like this, and then I take it to the back. And your curtain is almost completely lined at this time. And it also gives a nice finish than just having the back side of the fabric out against the street. Okay, so I'm going to press this down, and then I'm just going to press a hard edge up here. Now we're getting ready to do the side hems, and they are also double. But remember, our decorator fabric was larger than our lining fabric. So what we do is, one thing I didn't mention is up here at the top, where the seam allowance is, you want to completely press that all the way over on both sides. And you'll see how we finish that off. Now with the side hems, it's a double 1.5-inch hem, so you can use your hem gauge if you would like. So it would go up 3 inches, and you press it in. Whoops. And what I like about this tool is that you can press right on it, and it also, because it does heat it up, it gives you a crisp edge. Now we're going to press this over to meet that fold. And then again, but before we do that, you take the bottom corner and you fold it up into a triangle like this. And you press it. Okay, and now we're going to press it over. And this just gives a really nice finish to the bottom edge, just like this. And you can see how the bottom corner has been mitered. And I'm going to put a couple of pins in, and then I'm going to show you how to sew it, because this is one of the questions I get asked all the time. How do you do a blind hem? The blind hem stitch is a stitch that's built into your machine, and it's designed to look like hand sewing. It'll stitch like 3 little stitches, and then it takes a little bite over, and that's where you're stitching the fabric together. Now, when you blind stitch, this is the confusing part. I have it laying here face down, but what I want to do is turn the hemmed area back. And when you do that, it'll look like this, and you're actually going to be stitching on the folded edge right here, and it comes over and takes the bite into the curtain, and that's where like the hand sewing look comes in. So you just put it under your machine, and I do like to use a blind hem foot, and sometimes they come with the machine, sometimes you have to invest in it, but it's really worth your time. And so you just start sewing slowly, and it stitches, and that'll take a little bite. And it just keeps going, you go all the way up. Now, the thing with the blind hem stitch, it's not a magic number. You're gonna have to figure it out a little bit, because when you turn this over, you don't wanna see a big, long stitch of thread. You want it to just be a little tiny bite. Of course, take your pins out as you go, and you just keep stitching all the way up. Now, I have one already finished, because we're now gonna put in the grommets. Now, if you can see this, both sides have been hemmed. I have nice miters at the bottom. And I want to show you the what the blind stitch looks like. If we can turn this carefully, and you can see where I stitched, and then it came over and took a bite, and it stitched again. And on the front side, you can barely see it, but it's all sewn together now. So that's all there is to it to doing a blind hem. The trick is the fold. Now, we're going to put the grommets in. And this is really easy, but what you want to do first of all is mark your line so that all the grommets are straight, and then your curtain will hang straight. So 2.5 inches from the top edge, you want to mark it, which I have done here with a erasable fabric marker. And then the grommets themselves are interesting because there's 2 parts to the grommet. There's one with little tiny teeth, and then there's ones with little tiny grooves on it, and they snap together. We don't need any tools at all. And it also comes with a template, and this template actually has been designed to be the perfect hole to cut out your fabric. So what you do is you put your template down, and you want to space them evenly across. And when you're making a curtain, you always want to use an even amount. Packs come in 8, and depending upon the size, whether you use all 8, you might use more packs. And so you take your erasable fabric marker, and you just mark it down. I have a mark right here, and you just trace around it, just like this. And then you just simply cut it out. And how I do that is I just fold it, take a little stab, and then I just start cutting. And you want to cut pretty carefully around this hole. Now, sometimes, depending upon the fabric, I do like to put pins in here before I cut it. It does help, but this fabric's pretty thin, so I didn't need to do that. Also, there's no reason that I've seen people ask me if they have to finish this edge with a zigzag stitch or with a seam sealant. It's absolutely not necessary, but you want to cut the entire hole out as I started doing, and here's one already cut out. And so you take then the grommet that has the grooves on it, and you place that on a hard surface, just like this, and then you can see how the hole that I cut out just fits perfectly around it. And then you take the one that has the teeth, and you place it right on top, and then you just snap it in place. Did you hear it snap? And it is complete. And the grommets come in different sizes. Now I'm using one that fits a rather large rod here, but you can also get them smaller. It depends on your look, on what you're doing. And the other thing is they come in all these fabulous colors, including reds and oranges and purples and yellows. So you can really match up your fabric or make it contrasting like I did here, because I have little black lines. So I picked up the black in my for my finished look. Now I have one other one to show you. And if we can go back over here, I'll pull this over. You can also do some interesting things with a grommet curtain. And this time, I put a contrasting band at the top. So this is a valance. You can make them any size. You can make cafe curtains. You can make them floor length. You can make them valances. They can be plain the 1 fabric color, or like I did here, the 2. And this is with a 5-inch band at the top. Now, all these instructions, all the fabric calculations, and a few additional tips are all on the website, and I hope that you can go there and make your own curtains and make your home look like your personality.